Assalamualaikum and a very good day. We're from Group 8 and in this video we're going to talk about the nervous system in farm animals under stressful conditions. Stress in animals occurs when animals are required to make extreme or prolonged adjustments in order to cope with their environment or surroundings. The factors or triggers that cause stress are referred to as stresses and it can vary. So, it is important to understand the root cause of the stress in order to help alleviate the impact of this cause has on the animals. Animal stress can be classified in three ways: by physical, due to the fatigue or injury; by physiological, due to the hunger, thirst, or temperature control; and lastly, behavioral, due to the environment and surroundings, unfamiliar people or animals.
Okay, let's get into the anatomical structure of animals' nervous system in general. Animal must be able to sense something and respond to it according to the environment in order to survive. There are two systems involved in coordination in animals: nervous system and endocrine system. Nervous system operates via electrical impulse along nerve fibers, while endocrine system releases a special chemical or hormones into the bloodstream from the glands. But in this presentation, we are going to focus on the nervous system. Going into the nervous system, it consists of brain, spinal cord, and peripheral nerves. There are two systems in the nervous system, that is central nervous system or CNS and peripheral nervous system PNS. The central nervous system or CNS consists the brain and the spinal cord. The nerves that get involved are from the brain up to the half of the animal's body. The main role of CNS is to control all voluntary movement such as roaring and walking, and also involuntary movement such as blinking and breathing. For peripheral nervous system or PNS, the nerves are practically covering all parts of the body, like from the head to the end of the leg or tail. The PNS is divided into two parts, that are somatic and autonomic nervous system. Its main function is to connect the CNS to the limb and organs, essentially serving as a relay between the brain and spinal cord and the rest of the body.
Have you heard the word neurons? It is the primary functional cell in the nervous system. The main part of the neuron is the cell body, or we call this soma or perikaryon. Specialized projections called axons allow neurons to transmit electrical and chemical signals to other cells. Neurons can also receive these signals via root-like extensions known as dendrites. Dendrites receive stimuli or inputs from other neurons and convey this stimulation to the cell body. Axons conduct nerve impulse away from the soma towards another neuron or other type of cell. It is covered by a fatty layer of material called the myelin sheath, and a bundle of axons bound together is referred as a nerve. The cell body of neurons is usually located in the brain or spinal cord, while the axon extend the whole distance to the organ that it supplies. And here, there are three types of neuron functions. Firstly, afferent neurons for sensory functions, where the neurons receive stimulus. Secondly, interneuron for integrating functions. It processes the information received from the sense organs. Lastly, efferent neuron for motor functions, which it responds to the stimuli such as causing the knee to jerk or produce glandular secretions. There are countless neurons in our nervous system, and in between the neurons, the nerve cell does not touch each other, so for the information to be transmitted, the nerve impulse will be carried the chemicals called neurotransmitter through the synapse. Let's take a look into an act of improper handling of farm animal as an example, such as hitting a cattle roughly to oblige the cattle to walk or do something. The pain receptor will detect the pain caused by the blow and transmit the impulse to the spinal cord through the afferent neurons. In the spinal cord, nerve impulses are sent to intermediate neurons. Then, Efferent neurons send impulse from the intermediate neurons to the effector organ. Finally, in the effector organ, the leg muscles and body of the cattle will contract, making it ready to rage like running or heading towards a farmer. A reflex is a rapid automatic response to a stimulus.
When farm animals are stressed, they exhibit a variety of symptoms. There are behavioral and physical signs that we need to be aware of, and it's very important to address it before it leads to bigger problems. The physical signs of stress may include panting and heavy breathing in animal. The heart rate could increase and excessive sweating could happen to the animal in stress. The body muscles may become tense during the stress, and animal could experience weakness and may collapse. The behavioral signs of stress may include animals become easily agitated and they experience restlessness. Animals become easily agitated because they are uncomfortable due to a rise of stress level. The animals may stop or reduce eating or drinking due to stress. They could also chew on foreign metals, for example, wire of the fence, obsessively when they are stressed.
Now, I will explain about effect of stress on farm animals. High level of stress, especially prolonged stress, can have long-term negative impact on farm animals, such as change immune function, increased susceptibility to disease, and decreased feed intake and rumination. Immune function can be suppressed by stress. The capability of cellular immune system is diminished when the stress response involves the production of glucocorticoids. In practice, this means that some illnesses are more likely than others to be triggered by prolonged stress. For the increased susceptibility to disease, under stress conditions, pathogens like viruses predispose to the animal to secondarily bacterial infection. It also allows opportunistic bacteria to become pathogenic. The stress of weaning is known to increase the risk of digestive disease in several species. For the decreased feed intake and rumination, there is some evidence suggesting that stress may have an inhibitory effect on rumination, and this in turn may reduce feed digestibility and therefore performance, and may also increase the risk of ruminal acidosis.
As we have learned, the nervous system is divided into two parts, which are the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. It uses to send signals and messages all over the body. The nervous system is a very important asset to the body because of its role in our normal functioning. So it is important that they are taken care of to prevent suffering losses or reduction of the functionality. Farmers and breeders have high level of experience and expertise. Nevertheless, there are still widespread recognition of animals' agitation and fear responses during handling on the farms. Stress on farm animals usually affect not only their health but also affect their production and meat quality. So we have to take a measure to improve stress management on the farm, such as moving small numbers of animals at a time. Do not overload the crowd pen, avoiding improper handling, and reduce noise. Apart from that, nutrition also play an important role. Nutrition strategies can help animals cope with the stress coming from their surroundings and improve their welfare. Thus, in farm management, stress should be taken into consideration from both animal welfare and productivity points of view.